Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well today. We have a beautiful, creative, intuitive transmission this week, which is entitled Let's Walk Our Talk. And I find it quite inspiring and positive. I want to say that, regarding the previous CITs, I'm not necessarily in control of what is being shared in my CITs because, as you know, these messages and high vibration messages are inspired to me by the soul cluster I am part of, the Mella collective. And sometimes they need to bring messages that are not joyful per se. Like last week, I know I'm conscious that it was a little bit, it was intense. But we there's things that we need to address, and it cannot always be happy, happy, joy, joy. So sometimes we have to talk about really deep issues or challenges and things, and that's part of the whole healing process that we're all going through right now in this phase of transition towards fourth and later fifth density. So, but this week's message is quite, I don't know, very empowering, very encouraging, very joyful. Let's walk our talk. So what do we want to share this week about walking our talk? Well, we're in a place right now on Terra where many of us are doing the most important thing right now on Terra is to do the inner journey, going within, healing trauma, transmuting trauma, facing emotions, old things, because we need to detox in a way emotionally from all the previous things that have been challenging in our lives, and we need to be able to go further into the future with these traumas behind us, because we will have transmuted them and went through them as beautiful challenges and experiences to make us grow and to makes us evolve as souls, which is always the purpose of our souls, is to evolve and grow. And not only do we do this in third density, but also in fourth and fifth. And when we go elsewhere, we continue doing that evolution process in order to evolve in our consciousness. So all of this is a challenging but also a beautiful journey, because we have this opportunity to know ourselves better, to really transmute things that are difficult and heavy and sometimes create dis-ease in our bodies or in our minds. And so it's absolutely crucial, and nobody else can do it for us. I mean, no medbed, no healers, people can be of help, of support, can be a shoulder, but nobody can do the job for us. Only us can go within and do that inner journey of healing. So when we realize that, we have done a lot of healing, and we have realized, like I was talking last week about, we realized some patterns that we may carry with us either from this life, from previous lives, and things like that, or maybe some habits that are not always the most gentle and harmonious for our bodies, our minds, or our spirit, or let's say our soul. Then we tend to know at I wouldn't say at the end of this journey, because this is a never-ending journey. Going within and working our things is never, it's a never-ending journey. But we get to a point where, after doing a lot of that inner work, we're kind of aware of where are the traps, where we might have some obsessions or some compulsions, or might have some fragility of vulnerabilities, regarding certain attitudes or certain things that trigger us. And so we become aware, we become more conscious. And this is all very beautiful. And this is a very important step to become aware of these things. And I believe this is a step that, and every step should be honored and celebrated, because it's a hard journey. So I always encourage everybody to be in gratitude for each step that you do. And, always tell yourself, wow, what wonderful work of healing you've done today. Or wow, you were so conscious today of that thing or this thing. And always offer yourself some gratitude. It's not an ego thing. It's just being conscious and loving towards yourself, to say, well, you've done that. Look at all the journey you've done, where you left, where did you start from, and where are you at now. Wow, what a beautiful, important step to be in that gratitude. But then, when you know, and there comes a time when it's not just about knowing it anymore. It's also about acting. And we are in a transitional phase right now on Terrahu, where we are just, things are changing really, really, really fast. As you've noticed, for those who are aware of these things, that, disclosure is just tumbling down. Finally, the world is starting to see what, we've been saying for a while. And this is not just, it's not to say we knew or I told you so. It's not that. It's just that, there's things that many of us have seen for more or less a lot of years. And now the world is starting to see these things. And it's wonderful, but it also creates, a lot of movement. And also, we are definitely transitioning towards fourth density. I mean, I don't know to what level of fourth density we are now. Have we reached it yet? Are we close to reaching it? But my feeling is that we're on the edge, if not already at the beginning of stages of being in fourth density. And so this creates changes, and it's really rapid. And because what's happening is that the frequency is getting higher, and when frequencies get higher, things go faster, and everything is faster. And so time flies, and we're in a stage where right now we're encouraged, and this is really the message of the Mella Collective this week. We're encouraged to be in the action, to be in the now, to be in the consciousness, in the presence, in the mindfulness of the now, but act, And it's not just about saying, oh, I know I have this issue. I know I have that pattern. I know I have this bad habit. I know I should do this. I know I should eat more or less, or this or that, or do more exercise, or walk in nature more, or be more kind to the people around me. All these things that we're kind of aware of that are in the back of our minds. It's time to act on them now. It's time to walk or talk, and not just say, because many of us, and I include myself in this very humbly, we have these phrases that we always repeat, like eating well is super important, going within is very crucial, or transmuting your trauma is essential. And those are beautiful phrases, but if they're not grounded into the reality, into the physicality, because we are, after all, incarnated in physical bodies, and that's a choice we made to have an experience, a corporeal experience on Terra. So it's part of the journey. We should not reject that at all. Those who say that the body is an illusion in the spiritual world, I think that's a psyop, and I think that's very disharmonized from the reality of us being bodies and souls within bodies, and all of this works together. So we need to also incarnate in our actions and in our bodies, in our reality, these beautiful concepts and realizations we've had through our healing journey and spiritual journey. And it's time to really act on them and be active. And so it's really about, the message of this week. Yes, of course, it's grounded in spirituality, but for me, spirituality should always be grounded in reality and in physicality as well. We need to perhaps, I'm just giving an example of perhaps an exercise that we could all do, and it's just a very fun invitation to perhaps have a look at the things we keep repeating all the time. Make a list of the things you keep repeating all the time, because those are the things that have not only an influence in your life, because your thoughts and your words create your reality, but also what it is that you say that serves or doesn't serve you. And if it doesn't serve you, be conscious of it and start not, and try not to say these things anymore. And if they serve you, write them on a piece of paper, and just look at that list of things you keep saying that are important, those things that you think are important in your life, like eating better, or do more exercise, or do more meditation, or go walk in nature more, or have more fun, be more light, be in humor, because it's super high vibe, it's super important. And then when you've done that list, you look at that list, or you keep it close to you, and you try to really incarnate in your everyday life these things. It's not just a discourse, it's not just sayings, it's not just spiritual talk, it's walking it doing it, incarnating it, because now we're invited, our souls are inviting us to really incarnate our reality in the Terran reality, in the Terran physicality, and not just have discourse and talks and do it. So it's a very, very simple message this week. I mean, I'm not going to go in depth into all of this. You know how to do this. You trust yourself, because you always have all the answers within yourself. Trust yourself that you know how to incarnate this talk into your reality and making it real, engaging in it, and really creating your reality that way, and manifesting that beautiful reality on Terra for yourself and others. So like our dear Alex often says in his beautiful webinars, it's nice to talk about aliens and galactic things, and many of us who are listening to this channel are really into the starseed things, and it's perfect, it's interesting, it's really good to know where you come from and to know yourself. But now it is time to get into the engagement on Terra. Engage with your body, engage with people around you, engage in your community, engage in your values, engage in what you say by walking your talk, doing it, experimenting it, making it physical, making it real. So this is a really important thing that we're invited to look at and actually engage with from the Mella Collective today. So very simple message. To illustrate this and to ground into matter, as always, as I do in my CITs through iconography or representations, or the symbolism of representation, we were inspired today to have this background, which is a beautiful background of, it would be like dawn, a period of the day that seems like to be the dawn, where we have these purplish, pinkish, yellowish tones, which are very beautiful. And the dawn for me really represents this moment of the day when you wake up and you're like excited about your day, and you're thinking, how am I going to live today? How am I going to incarnate into my life this reality that's in my head and my soul, and just make it physical. So the dawn for me really represents that element. And then these colors of the yellow, which is also something I'm wearing today, which is probably not a coincidence. All of this goes always together, although it's completely unconscious. This yellow color and the color that we find in the beautiful light here has to do also, I find, with the lower chakras, the root chakra and the three first lower chakras, which for me represent very much this engagement into Terran reality, into the physicality of things, in the energy of life, and also not fearing, which is also a very important aspect of this message today, is what often prevents us from going into the action of what we always keep repeating and really applying that in reality, is our fears. So we need to be very conscious of our anxieties and fears and let those go slowly but surely, definitely, because it is through an absence of fear that we'll be able to incarnate our values and what's important to us into the reality and physicality of our lives. Now, obviously, what we have here is this beautiful horse, which is a representation of strength, of power, but also of gentleness, because, horses are not just, pure force. They're also beautiful, gentle beings, very sensitive, but that are powerful, and that can really represent for me this action, this running, this galloping into the reality of Terra, and taking things into your hands and go, stop analyzing things too much and be too much in your brain. When just apply things and just go with it, and gallop and walk your talk and just do it, and do like that beautiful horse, and just go for it, go for your life. You have nothing to fear, because you cannot make mistakes. There's nothing like mistakes. It's always an opportunity to grow. It might be a challenge, but it's an opportunity to grow. So it's always a gift. So even if you start, you say, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to engage in my life. And then you start and you do something and it doesn't work as well as you'd like to. Don't worry. It's okay. It's not a mistake. It's just you growing, you learning, you discerning, and all these things. So being the horse that just gallops into life is really an inspiring image for us today in the message we have. Now, the second visual iconographical element of this CIT has to do with a Japanese washi chiyogami paper collage that I create in each of my CIT sessions. And this collage is entitled Aylahïl. Aylahïl, that is actually spelled here. So Aylahïl, let's move a little bit. This way we see the image better. So Aylahïl, interestingly enough, obviously is inspired by the beautiful message by the Mella collective of today. And the paper that was inspired to me for this collage is this beautiful ochre, yellow ochre background paper which has, I never know if it's really like reeds or oats or feathers, doesn't really matter. But to me, this beautiful paper also represents, again, this notion of the lower chakras, so the energies of physicality. So I find it very joyful, very beautiful. And also, for some reason, I associate it a lot with Native American culture for some reason. I think it has to do with the feathers, and I don't know. It's just, to me, it has this Native American thing. So maybe there's a message there from the wisdom of Native American cultures. But this beautiful ochre yellow color really for me represents the energy of life, and that really this engagement into the physicality of Terran life. So this is what it represents here. And, you know, if you see it as oats rather than feathers, it can also represent this notion of, you know, growing, you know, the plant that grows, and, you know, the growing of foods and things like that, which also for me represents this notion of the engagement in the Terran reality of, you know, of human activities to survive, like food, and well, not to survive, but to live, like, you know, growing foods. And that can also be a beautiful opportunity and invitation by the Mella Collective as well to engage in manifesting a different way of eating, but also a different way of nourishing our bodies and souls through perhaps growing our own foods. And that can also be a beautiful decision in your life to decide, I'm stopping to buy I'm going to stop to buy these things in grocery stores, which are, you know, genetically modified and full of poisons, and perhaps start to grow my own food. So there's another beautiful invitation to ground that spiritual message of like wanting to be in harmony in your body and in your soul as well. So that's for the background. Then we have this central circle, which is red with those beautiful flowers and branches, which often for me represents not only the connection to the heart, which is very important, but in this case, in this particular CIT of this week, I really, really connected to, because of the tree and the branch and the flowers, to this notion of engaging into the physicality of Terra again, which is very complementary to the yellow background. You know, this connection with nature, this connection with engaging in the physicality of Terra through its beautiful life, you know, the vegetal life. So we're invited there to concentrate on that physicality, this action of putting physicality to our values, to our mental and spiritual decisions. In the lower part of this collage, we have a smaller navy blue background circle with yellow waves, which represent, for me, always the waves represent the challenges of life. So, you know, like I've said, we are growing in our Terran experience, and we might encounter challenges. And again, those are not mistakes. And if you start to really go into your life and really apply, you know, your values into physicality, you might encounter some stumbling and some problems, which are challenges. But again, they're not errors. They're just opportunities to grow and to evolve. So they're, in a way, they're positive. Then the upper circle is navy blue with white dots, which represents really stars. So this is more the spiritual aspect of things. So always our connection to our spiritual element, because it's always super important, as Edgar Cayce said, and I've always followed a lot Edgar Cayce's work since I was a child, actually, with my parents. Edgar Cayce's always really put the importance of the beautiful harmony between physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual in our lives. Always making sure that everything's aligned there. That's always something that I've tried to apply in my life with difficulty sometimes, but it's something we can try as well to incarnate in our lives. So spirituality is important because this is what makes us know what is good for us. It offers us discernment. It offers us the opportunity to go within and discover who we are, what we want, what we don't want, what values we want to incarnate in life. But just staying in the spiritual world is a little bit like the, how can I say, it doesn't ground you to what you've come here to do, which is, ground that spirituality into the earth, into Mother Gaia, Terra, and just, incarnate this wisdom that you have within as a fractal of source. But you have to keep it in mind, and they work hand in hand, the physicality and the spirituality. Then in the middle of the large central circle, we have a smaller golden circle with the motif of the flower of life, which for me always represents source, as I always say. And the fact that it's at the center of the physicality for me represents this connection, the connection to not only to source, but to the fractals of source that we are. And this is what centers us, that creates the alchemical process that helps us harmonize between all elements of ourselves, the sacred feminine, sacred masculine, the shadow, the light, everything that's within us, because we're all of this, because we're source. So if this is at the center of our heart, then we're always well guided in order to put into physicality our spiritual values and wisdom. Finally, at the end, we have these branches, which are orange and red, again, in these beautiful, very joyful and rich, powerful colors, with birds in flight, which for me represent the blooming, the sort of apotheosis, if you want, of like a person who's not only walking his or her talk, but is completely aligned with his or her spirituality, physicality, connection to source, and is aware of the challenges, but transcends them through going within and doing that inner journey of healing and transmutation. So the person just blooms into that physicality, and it's life on Terra, instead of always being like, oh, I miss home upstairs, or we all go through that. I'm the first one who misses home upstairs, and I'm not judging anyone. But it's really, really, really time that we appreciate and be in gratitude for this Terran life. And I'm speaking mostly to the starseeds who are listening to this video, who sometimes feel a little bit disconnected from Terra and want to go back home and everything. Let's celebrate. Let's honor our existences on Terra by, putting into physicality, by walking our talk, our spiritual values, our spiritual knowing, wisdom that we all have as beings as fractals of source. And this is what has been inspired to us today by the Mella Collective. So I hope this joyful and very energetic message, which is grounded in really, orange and yellow and red, very lower chakra colors, which have to do with this energy of life and courage and letting go of the fear, is something that was very joyful to me today to share with you. So this collage, Aylahïl, is available as an original collage and also as a digital file, which are available on my website at abigaëllerichard.com. And as always, both of these formats always include the high vibrations and high frequencies that not only the Mella Collective transmit through the vocal message, but also through the background, through the energy that's just been shared with you today, through the colors and through the forms as well. So all of the artwork is imbued with these beautiful energies for you. So I send you lots of love and high frequencies. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, myself and the rest of the Mella Collective, we invite you to really incarnate your spirituality, your values, and walk your talk. Take immense care of yourself and have a lovely day. Bye. All my gratitude for helping this channel bring high vibrations and high frequencies to more people.